You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
At first, you will think you're hallucinating. This will probably make your brain and body disconnect for a moment. You might lose your will and reason. This probably sounds strange, but it will help, so don't get scared. It's podcasting. Welcome to Pleasers
and Punishers,
where we talk about movies that people love to watch.
Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
And all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlin of the North.
And I'm May Superfaggot Schultz.
And today we're discussing how we have none of God's forgiveness. And The Untamed from 2016, written and directed by Amat Escalante, starring Ruth Ramos, Simone, and this is where everyone is about to find out that I took 1 year of Spanish in high school, and the woman who taught it was from Spain. So I will absolutely go Simone Bucio, Jesus Meza, and Eden Villavicencio.
All right. Well, before we get into it, tell me, Caitlin, do you believe in aliens?
Okay. Yes. I absolutely think it is very small-minded of us to think we are the only beings in all of the universes out there. And technically, bacteria count as alien life forms on other planets that we don't have on Earth, and so on and so forth. Yes. Do I think aliens have, come... do I think, though, we are so fascinating that aliens really want to study us? No. No, I do not. Do I think sometimes aliens have been used as a way to disregard the accomplishments of cultures that center out peoples of color, such as the pyramids, so on and so forth? Easter Island, yes. Yes, I do. And again, all that being said, of course there's aliens out there. Evolution is real, and I believe in it.
Yeah, I definitely believe that there is other intelligent life out in the universe. I don't think it has any interest in us, because, look at humanity.
We're whack.
For all of the beautiful things we create even more horrible things, and it's really disconcerting and disheartening. And I feel like if aliens discovered us, they'd take one look and go, what the fuck? No.
Just nope. Nope,
just,
right out.
Just nope right out of there. Mm-mm. So, all right. So we're pretty much agreed there. And I really like that perspective about how the idea of aliens has been used to decenter and delegitimize the accomplishments of people of color in the past. I don't think I had ever really looked at it that way before, so thank you for bringing that up. Well, speaking of things we haven't thought about before, just kidding.
Yes.
Let's get into some role play.
I'm so excited.
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim all your life.
Okay, we're going to tell you the story of the movie. Spoilers, blah, blah, blah. You know it. Go watch it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, there's a lot here, so.
Yeah. An asteroid floating in space. A woman named Veronica wearing nothing but stockings being pleasured by a tentacle within a cabin. She's asked to leave, but doesn't want to go. She wanders through the foggy countryside, a blood stain on the side of her shirt. She goes to the ER, where a nurse named Fabian tends to her deep wound.
I could not remember, Fabian's name the whole time until, my last viewing, and I just kept referring to him as brother. And I felt so bad. The only character, I could not remember his name. Anyway.
That is so funny. At another home, Alejandra's husband, Angel, initiates morning sex from behind, and she seems less than enthused, then masturbates in the shower. At breakfast, they deal with their 2 sons, one of whom has a rash on his face from eating chocolate to which he's allergic.
Oh my God.
She takes him to see her brother Fabian, the nurse, to get her son a shot. Angel and Fabian meet up at a bar and then go back to Fabian's to fuck. Angel tells a story of hunting with his father, which put him off from ever eating meat. Later, Veronica and Fabian share a meal and talk about their respective dysfunctional relationships. The pair go out dancing with Ale and Angel, where Angel tries to fuck Fabian in the bathroom and then starts a fight with a guy Ale was dancing with. Angel physically assaults Ale after they leave, and she complains to a coworker but doesn't know what to do about it.
It's the classic rejection. How many movies have we already watched where it's like rejection, violence?
Yep. Yeah, it's almost like people should be taught interpersonal effectiveness skills so that they know how to handle rejection in healthy ways instead of exacting violence on people as a result of it.
What?
That's my PSA. Fabian ends his tryst with Angel, who is very unhappy. He comes home drunk and can't even manage to piss in the toilet. He begs Ale not to leave him. A shepherd, who has previously found a body in similar conditions, leads a journalist and some paramedics to Fabian's body, half submerged in the muddy water, but still alive somehow. Veronica takes Ale to Fabian's apartment to look for his birth certificate, and Ale discovers all of the texts between Fabian and Angel, which are both horny and violent. Angel gets arrested at work on suspicion of attacking Fabian. These text messages were so upsetting.
So upsetting.
Come here, faggot. I want to smash your face.
It is.
As like flirting?
Yeah.
Like that's past kink into abuse.
It is. It's Angel reacting so abusively towards Fabienne is like, it is one of the true horrors of this movie. I mean, to everyone. Angel's a bit of a piece of shit. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Veronica visits Ale at home to console her, and the two of them have a picnic with the kids. Ale wanders off in the direction of the cabin and speaks to the older couple who live there, a scientist and his wife. She discovers that they've known Veronica since she was a kid. The wife says, "What's there in the cabin is our primitive side. It's never going to disappear. It's only going to perfect itself. We see the small crater where it crashed, and it's filled with animals of all kinds fucking. Not interspecies fucking, but there's like turtles fucking and foxes fucking right next to each other. None of these animals are attacking each other. They're just horny as fuck."
Here's another PSA. This will not be the wildest orgy in a movie that I have chosen that we will be watching.
That does not surprise me at all. I mean, Solo is on our list, right?
Oh, yes, that is also on our list.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Never thought I was going to watch that movie a second time, but I guess it's going to happen. The couple bring Ale to the cabin and deposit her on a mattress on the floor. The tentacled creature crawls toward her as she looks on with arousal. She arrives home that evening where Veronica is watching over the sleeping boys. She tells Ale that Fabian also fucked the creature, and also that it didn't hurt him because it can only give pleasure. But that's a lie. And we know it.
Lying!
Veronica goes to a friend's house where she passes out on the couch and black liquid leaks from her crotch. Oh, talk about a party foul. See, this is why I don't write down my quips. That was just totally off the top of my head, and it's always so much funnier that way.
Oh.
The older couple tell Veronica that she needs to stop seeing the creature and that it is much happier now that it's seeing Ale. Veronica warns Ale that it may get sick of her someday and that she'll have to find someone new for it before leaving to find a new place to live. In her new place, she has sex with a dude and seems less than excited about it because he's not a tentacle monster. Angel's mother denies Ale the ability to see her own children, so Ale breaks the window to get in and retrieve them. They go to the cabin. Oh my God.
Yes.
Angel's mother is such a bitch.
Not in the good way, like, come on.
They go to the cabin where the children play outside as Ale and the creature have sex. as Ale and the creature have sex, finally giving us a proper look at it. At the hospital, she disconnects Fabian's breathing tube, allowing him to die. Angel's parents, who have gotten him out of jail despite the tabloid headlines about he and Fabian, want him to move away because he's an embarrassment to the family. In his childhood bedroom, he contemplates death by suicide before his dad comes in, smacks him, and then embraces him. Angel shows up to confront Ale, completely denies his relationship with Fabian, and begs to be welcomed back in his family. But Ale's not having it, so he beats the shit out of her. Then he accidentally shoots himself in the leg, trying to take a gun out of his pocket.
Just so bad at everything, this fucking
So
guy.
bad.
Jesus Christ.
So she loads him into the back of his truck, drives up to the woods by the cabin, drags him through the trees, and brings him in to see the creature. She also discovers a sadly dead Veronica. Ale and the scientist dump the two bodies, and then she goes to pick up her children. Why's your blouse stained, Mommy? And that's the Untamed.
Yes. Oh,
All right,
goodness.
Caitlin. This was your pick, so
Yes.
tell me about your relationship with this movie.
So I actually watched this a few years ago for the first time. It was featured on Horror Queers.
Nice.
And as someone who is very attracted to queer, foreign, way outside of what you would normally see in the United States cinema, I said, I am pausing this episode and I need to go watch this right now. And I know the first time I watched it, I gave it about a 3.5 on Letterboxd. But watching it for this episode, I see a lot more there than I think I saw certainly the first time I watched it. And some interesting things that I just, didn't pick up on. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Nice. So this was a first watch for me, and I'm unfortunately not as high on it as you are. Mm-hmm. I had heard comparisons to Possession. I had heard a lot of things, and so I think I was expecting it to go a bit harder, a bit weirder. And it's like, yeah, I'm saying I wish a movie where you literally see a woman having sex with a tentacled alien monster, where it's penetrating her in lots of different ways, isn't weird enough. Like, I realize I'm nitpicking here, but I think it felt so much like a family drama that just happened to have some weird elements to it.
Yes.
And I wanted it to be balanced in the other direction. I wanted it to be a really fucked up thing that had some elements of family drama. So it was skewed in the wrong direction for my tastes. Mm-hmm. I still gave it 3 stars. And, well, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you know that's kind of low for me. It means I still enjoyed the movie. I still got something out of it. And obviously, we're talking about it. So we wouldn't be if I was just like, no, fuck this movie.
I have nothing to say about this.
It's certainly, it is well made. The performances are great. And there is a good amount of tension in it. So I'm excited to delve into it a little bit more.
So I know that you were nervous about watching this.
I was very nervous about watching this because I knew there were some domestic abuse dynamics going on. And as I'm sure people are sick of hearing me talk about, I'm an abusive relationship survivor, and it's really hard for me to watch that stuff sometimes. So the parts where Angel gets violent with Ale were extremely upsetting and extremely activating, and especially the emotional manipulation toward Fabian is also extremely upsetting.
And I mean, as someone who has definitely had their hair grabbed and head twisted in that way, I was those moments of like and very like real just very rooted in realism.
Yeah.
Of that kind of relationship dynamic is, I do like that immediately she goes, there has to be more than this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do not wish to be here anymore. The sex is bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is violent now. I don't want to be here.
Well,
why was I here in the first place? We'll get into that.
Swinging onto the more, hopefully, positive side of things.
Oh, yes.
Tell me, are you a monster fucker?
You bitch.
Hey, if you want to plead the fifth, that's okay.
No, okay. So, not in a way where I would, like, necessarily seek out, like, a toy sort of thing. But, like in an animated... So here's what happened. I can't exactly remember if I was, like, 15 or 16 or maybe... I was watching Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Uh-huh.
And something about, that werewolf fucks.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something that just activated in my brain where I was like, do I want someone who's like, just kind of like lay on me and crush me a little? Is that something that like, like, just pick me up and slam me against the wall. And I just like the pressure of the body seems really like, And with a monster, it just seems like it'd be that much harder because they're very, very muscular.
Hey, look, I get it.
So, not all of them, but some of them. Sure. Yes, I am.
So I am surprisingly not.
It's actually very shocking. I love
know,
this
right?
for you.
I love vampires. I love the idea of werewolves, especially. I know a lot of people in the trans community have grown really attached to werewolves as kind of like a nice analog for being trans. And I love that. And I do really like werewolf stories and movies. My radio show in high school with my friend Judy, who is 2 years older than me and a lesbian and the drummer in my band, was called Blood and Chocolate. It was Tuesday mornings from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., I think. So it was like we were on when people were driving their kids to school on our high school radio station. And there were parents who listened to our radio show, which was pretty fucking cool. Anyway, it was called Blood and Chocolate because of the book Blood and Chocolate that I had read my freshman year. And yes, I love that stupid fucking movie because it's got Hugh Dancy in it. And I love Hugh Dancy.
I love Hugh Dancy.
Anyway, I have never really gotten turned on by like a monster fucking a person. If you consider a vampire a monster, I guess that's like an exception.
I was going to ask.
Vampires are so humanoid.
Yeah.
And it's like if two people who are both werewolves turn into werewolves and fuck, cool. I'm down with that. But I can't get into like a werewolf in werewolf form fucking a human in human form. That doesn't do anything for me. And obviously, no shade to anyone else. Tentacles, tentacle porn, that kind of stuff doesn't really do anything for me. I guess it makes me a little vanilla, which is kind of funny, but
I don't think so. Like just because you're like not into one thing,
on.
But even though, yeah, exactly.
I know what turns me on. I know what doesn't.
All the kinks to like not be vanilla.
Have I reached my kink quota?
This is it. Can I not be vanilla now, please?
Hey, you know what? They say vanilla is the finest of the flavors. As the Bare Naked Ladies would say. And speaking of Bare Naked Ladies, let's talk about the film's cultural context in our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself. Because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
Okay, Caitlin.
We're so
I'm so sorry. Apologies to anyone who hates Bare Naked Ladies. You're wrong. That song rules.
Oh, and we're 90s children. It's just going to happen.
Okay. This is your section, babe. Take it away.
So, very excited. For the second week in a row, we're going to talk about more porn, everyone. But this time, we're going to start out with the history of tentacle porn, as it relates very heavily to this movie. I was reading an interview with the director, and he brings up how originally the creature was supposed to look kind of like stars and light and be very attractive, but that was very expensive, so they couldn't quite do that. So they reshaped the creature to make it like appealing, but also, you know, very alien. And like you don't that like
there's something about it that
appeal and
reminds me
repeal.
a little bit of the way the aliens look in Independence Day. The like elongated head and the tentacles, and yeah, so something about that made a connection in my brain. But like this one, I will admit, has a sleekness, a sexiness to it that those aliens do not.
And
No one's punching this one in the face and going, "Welcome to Earth."
No, you are definitely getting punched right back in your face. This alien has a lot to say. However, before we get into that, this is going to be the history of tentacle porn, which has its roots in Japan, as I'm hoping most people know, but I don't know what most people don't know. So now you're going to know it.
Wait, Japan likes tentacle porn? Color me surprised.
I know.
Tell me more, Caitlin.
Let's go! So, this comes from a period of art called, it's the Shunga period, which is kind of the more historical in Japan, Edo period. I believe it really blew up in like the 1840s. Again, censorship laws started to be relaxed. Oh, I hope I'm getting that right because I did a lot of this research earlier. And there's two different things that are happening. There's like the modern tentacle porn, which is because of censorship. But then we have the classical Shunga, which was seen as erotic, but also as parodies of existing works. So these are the Japanese woodblocks that you will see where essentially, I mean, people are fucking. We have slightly clothed people in very, very explicit sexual situations, homosexual, heterosexual, and some of them with octopi in particular. And this all comes from, as I said, parodies of existing works, so folklore that is very familiar to people at the time. The no dramas in Japan, there are a few different types.
That's N-O-H.
Yes, N-O-H.
In case you've ever seen that host segment on Mystery Science Theater where Crow and Servo are trying to ask Mike what his favorite type of theater is, and he says no theater, and they go insane.
That is so funny. I don't know if I've actually seen that one.
I'll find it.
Yes, N-O-H. So in Japan, there are different types of theater, as there are in every country. Haha. And so you have no theater, which is different than kabuki. What I find very interesting about Japan culturally is how it developed sans Christianity and westernization. And so Shintoism, which is the main religion in Japan, sex is very normal. It is very ordinary. That's actually why a lot of people in these Shunga prints are partially clothed, because the clothing is seen as very erotic and how it like lays on the body.
I love it when people are wearing like sexy lingerie that gives you an idea of what's going on. Sometimes that can be sexier to me than just straight up nudity.
And like the feeling of the cloth and the silks. And it also serves as kind of putting people directly in the time and the place, because depending on your social status, you would have worn different clothing. So these prints will automatically, like who these people are, what they're up to, if you have the cultural context for it, which historically, a lot of Westerners looking at and critiquing art from this period in Japan, see it as just pornographic or gross, I guess, where it's really playing into a much more complex social hierarchy. And I was reading this article by Isabella Meyer, which was called The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife by Hakusai, which is Hakusai. He did the wood block for the tsunami. So one of the most famous wood blocks you will see, prints that you will see from Japan. I think almost everyone has seen it. He also did The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife, which is a woman laid out, and there is one octopus that's performing cunnilingus. This is actually very interesting to me because there is no penetration. So there's one octopus performing cunnilingus, and one is about her mouth, and there's a tentacle on the clitoris and one on the nipple.
I've definitely seen this.
Yes. And it's actually, again, a lot of these come from folkloric tales. There's these women who were like shell divers. So they're performing this essential function, and they're very strong, and they're pretty sexy. And they're also down there with all these critters, and what could happen kind of things. And again, not all of them had things like oysters or octopi. But one of the pieces that really struck me from this analysis by Isabella Meyer is that these works of art really exist in, quote, complex themes of fantasy, pleasure, and the subversion of traditional roles. And so bringing that into a movie that really runs up against a extremely Catholic, conservative nation that is rooted in traditional gender roles. As we talk about kind of next, the bringing in the queerness in Mexican culture, and I was reading, 2007, Mexico had the second highest rate of murder of homosexuals.
Oof.
And the toxicity that has to exist because of Catholicism. Shout out to whoever did the Wikipedia article that is specifically like homosexuality in Mexican culture, because it is not like a regular Wikipedia article. I should save it. So I can,
it's like a well-researched
really well-researched. Nice. It is written more like someone's, like an essay. It's really
It'd be nice if more of Wikipedia was like that.
Everything is cited. And when they're talking about the pre-colonial, so pre-Catholicism, pre-Christianity, homosexuality was a lot more accepted.
Gee, what a surprise.
It is hard to say how much, because a lot of the times the Spanish or Portuguese would use sodomy as a reason for we have to tame this land. We have to tame these people.
Interesting. Tame.
And how much repression comes from that comes from Catholicism. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. It is extremely homophobic in its doctrine.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that there are so many cultures that have this toxic view of anything but cis heteronormative relationships. And most people don't know that is not, it's mostly not rooted in the original cultures of those places.
Right.
It is rooted in the spread of Christianity from Europe to those places. And it's really fucking disappointing.
Which is why I think tying it back to this unchristian society, very Japan very famously was Westerners, get out, stay out. We don't want you here. And also, Japan was an imperial power and also a colonial power in and of itself. So I think that was also part of why. As I was going to say before, the no dramas, I think specifically it's kabuki. All the characters are played by men, but originally they were all played by women. And unlike in Europe, where actors, female actors particularly, were seen as you whores, the women in Japan were also sex workers, but that was just expected and like cool.
Yeah.
However, the military did not like this.
Of course not.
And saw that as a bit of a weakness. We're worried that, like, soldiers were going off with these women. They might not come back. Men that can't control themselves. So then they replaced the women actors with pretty young men. Guess what didn't stop?
The sex work.
The sex work did not stop.
Yeah.
So then they decided no pretty people can be in these female roles, which is why actually I'm not sure if it's still always happening, but historically now it's all female characters in, I believe, kabuki are played by older men because of that.
Interesting.
And again, control of sexuality for very different reasons than potentially a Western Catholic society might want to control you.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It makes me think a lot.
I never know. I feel like I'm always so clunky going to this part. But speaking of what people thought about this movie, it's gotten 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty high for a movie like this.
A movie with a monster fucking. Yes.
Right? A non-English speaking movie with monster fucking.
Seriously.
It's got a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb and a 3.4 out of 5 or a 6.8 out of 10 on Letterboxd. So people seem to like this. I don't think most people love it, but it seems to have done better than I would have expected for a movie like this, right, which is great. Speaking of things that are great, let's make that money. God, I am brutally failing all of my transitions today.
I love it. Oh, man, you're so good at transitioning. Stop it.
All right. And now we're going to dig into the meat, the goo, and the viscera in a section we call Enough is a Myth.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
So, Angel's toxic masculinity and internalized homophobia are the cause of his family's dysfunction and ultimately his own death. Do you think if he was able to come out and be honest with himself and those around him, things would have gone differently? Or do you think the anti-queer overarching culture of Mexico would have still gotten him killed?
That's not how I actually read that question at first. And so that is a really interesting thing. Something that I didn't bring up that I meant to in the earlier section is that the headline of Fabian's death after Angel gets out of prison that says something along the lines of faggot drowned or killed, murdered, comes from a real headline.
Oh, that's so upsetting.
Escalante said. And he talks about how, I think as one of his actors in a previous movie, it was like, oh yeah, my mom had a friend, he was gay, he was a nurse, and he was killed. And had the headlines, and that's what it said. And Escalante looked at it and was just like, it didn't say, person who is helping other people get better. It wasn't like that was it. It was a hateful headline for a very hateful crime. That was kind of the seed of where this comes from, and that repression, and how harmful that is to people, individuals, their families, and their communities. And if he had been truthful to Ale, I always feel like she would have accepted that and been like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. This is, you go live your, like, I'm not having a good time in this relationship.
Right.
Like, if that's going to make you happy, go do that. However, the privilege that Angel comes from, and how, again, his mom, was it Griselda or Graciela? I can't remember her name. I have it written down somewhere. It might be Graciela. The true villain. One of the true villains of this story.
Yeah, because the monster is not actually a villain. It's just all instinct.
It's all instinct. It really is, again, it's going to give pleasure or it's going to give pain. There really doesn't seem to be, well, I mean, there is overlap there. Mm-hmm. But not maybe for the monster. There might not be so many shades of gray. I mean,
it does seem to be picky about who it fucks. Which I'll get into in a minute.
Yes, I'm actually very excited. This is going to be very, very fun. This is going to be so much fun. Toxic masculinity, homophobia, and monster fucking. I don't want there to be an element of tragedy to the story regardless.
Right.
Like, I would really like to think that he could have come out and been honest. Everything would have been different. Happy ending. I think, though, that would have been a lot of work.
Yep.
To get to that point. And most people are not able to do that.
Yeah, and I think it probably would have been difficult for the kids to understand.
Oh.
Because I feel like, in general, kids are less judgmental than adults are. Mm-hmm. However, if you grow up around someone who has so much repressed homosexuality that he lashes out at, like, oh, I don't know, your uncle about being gay, then you're going to pick up on that stuff. So I think they would have had a harder time with it. I think you're right. Ale would have been kind of relieved. Mm-hmm. But I think Angel's parents would have absolutely disowned him, or honestly even had him killed. Because they have some kind of pull. That's how they were able to get him out of jail.
They own that chocolate factory.
Right.
Oh my grandma keeps giving him the chocolate.
And if you've watched Los Espookies, you know how important it is to be the owners of a chocolate factory.
Also, everyone, you should watch that because it is incredible.
So good. It's so good. It's so queer. It's so sweet. I love that show. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I agree with you. And it's just the fact that it would be tragic no matter what he does. I think that makes it so much more affecting. Because it's like there's no winning for him here. Even if he wasn't a fucking asshole and he got to be his true self, something would take it away from him. And that's why this kind of stuff that's pervasive in modern cultures is so damaging. Mm-hmm. Ugh.
And one of the things that Amat Escalante said in the interview that I was reading, he kind of starts out saying that it wasn't like he wanted to do a social deep investigation, but then as he goes on, it's like, well, sir, that is exactly what you're doing. The quote is, which is also quite interesting, but in this case, I wasn't so inclined to that. So I wanted to explain in a more metaphorical way, in the human head way. That's why I wanted to have something represent the fear, the desire, the rejection that I feel a lot of people have that creates a lot of violence from men and women, but mostly from men, actually, that are repressed because they have been raised a certain way or the church and family morals, and that came represented by this creature in the cabin.
Okay, so Amat Escalante knows what he's talking about, and I really appreciate that.
Yes.
And I appreciate that he was open to the fact that he started out doing something that wasn't meant to have this social commentary, but inevitably became shaped by it, because how could it not? You know, it's very different than like Robert Hiltzik not knowing anything about trans people when you made Sleepaway Camp.
Yes.
It's very different than that.
Very different.
Okay, so speaking of gender roles, while Veronica is responsible for introducing this family to the creature, she doesn't actively harm anyone and is herself killed by the creature. But Alejandra chooses to let her brother die and actively seeks to end Angel's life. Do you see this as an empowering tale of a woman's revenge? Because she does get a happy ending.
Yes, she does. I absolutely do that. I love a movie with a happy ending. At the end of this, she really comes into herself. Ale really comes into herself. She, by unlocking this true pleasure, this like sublimity of what you could have and be, finds her strength. And I feel like it's very interesting when Alejandra decides to euthanize Fabian, because one, Catholics are not into that. Gotta keep you alive and in pain for as long as possible.
Because that's how God would want it.
Right, of course. You can't end that life, but capital punishment. Anyway, so I see what Alejandra does for Fabian as a act of mercy.
Same.
Excellent.
Yeah, I absolutely think that she is sparing him from further suffering.
Yes.
And I think it's also a nice way to show us that she holds no anger against him.
Absolutely.
She's not mad at her brother for what her own husband did.
And I find that so affecting. And her journey, which again, is so different from anyone else's. We have Vero, who is... I feel like this movie has some very interesting things to say about consent that maybe it didn't know it was saying, because I haven't seen it brought up. But the monster's mad at Vero because she keeps going back. It has made it very clear, no.
Right.
I don't want this.
Well, and she even knows, because when she and Fabian have that conversation over dinner, she's like, no, he doesn't call me. I just keep going back.
I keep going back. And
yeah, so it's almost like she is forcing the issue of consent by saying, well, I'm here. You have to fuck me. And that's why the monster hurt her and ultimately kills her.
And Fabian, who is also killed by the monster, isn't able to give full consent because he doesn't have all of the facts, because Vero has not told him that the monster is violent or could be violent.
Right. And it also seems like the monster only likes women.
I actually am going to, because I know you have this next, and I am going to push back on that.
Okay. Should we move on to that question then? Okay. So the creature seems to be rather picky with its lovers and decidedly not queer. The scientist and his wife even refer to it with masculine pronouns. Regardless of monster fucker alignment, knowing that this creature can provide ultimate pleasure, would you fuck it knowing that there's a possibility it would kill you? And obviously, sub-question, do you think this monster is quote-unquote straight?
I do not, and here's why. There is a moment where when Vero is talking to Fabian, and they are both saying, like, I'm in a really toxic, bad relationship. But with Fabian, it is that Angel keeps calling him, and he keeps going back, even though he's like, this is really bad on many levels.
Mm-hmm.
And Vero says, I'm not even sure if it's a he or a she, the person I'm in a relationship with. And Fabian goes, oh, well, show me a picture and I'll tell you, like, what are you talking about? Which also, gender is a social construct. So now you can't always. Fabian is gone for 2 days.
Right.
before Angel comes back is like, you kind of look like shit. Because Fabian has just barely been... I feel like this monster has been maybe a little rough with Fabian. Or maybe it's just too much pleasure and he's just way too into it because he hasn't been able to fully be himself in society.
I don't think I realized that he was gone for 2 days.
Yes.
I missed that. So thank you.
Yes. And I had to confirm because I had a feeling that in Spanish, there isn't really a gender-neutral pronoun. So if you're unsure of the pronoun, it's going to revert to the masculine.
Interesting.
So even though the scientist and his wife refer to the creature as a he, that might not actually be the case.
That is really interesting.
And the other piece that I found really fascinating and why it's because the tentacles, even though they are phallic in nature, they have little mouths at the end of them.
That is true.
Little mouths. So it's very much you get a little 2-for-1 there.
Yeah, it's true. It's like in Rabbit, how she's got an armpit dick, but it comes out of an armpit pussy.
Exactly. I feel like we may have talked about that last week, too.
Yeah, probably. Look, I'm always thinking about Marilyn Chambers' armpit, dick, and pussy, okay?
So, don't judge me. However, didn't actually answer the question about regardless of my
Answer the
monster,
question.
my monster fucker alignment. No. Here's why. You might all be getting the idea. I really enjoy sex. I get a lot of pleasure from sex. I get turned on listening, talking about, looking at sex. I probably should have done something about this in my line of work because I would have been a lot more successful.
A lot more successful.
Successful.
All right, I'll see myself out. Bye, everybody.
Woo! I'm out. Bye. I'll be never back again. No, I'll be back next Thursday. So I think I pretty much do a pretty good job of already getting to these fairly high, extremely stimulating sexual experiences. So I just don't think I would need the monster. I guess I am not tamed, is what I should say. I am extremely untamed. So I just don't really, I don't think I have much need for the monster to help me figure anything out. It's been figured. And
Excellent.
fingered.
I think if I was in a place where I was desperately lonely and depressed, I would probably risk it, despite not being a monster fucker. I would be like, you know what? If this form of ultimate pleasure ends with me in a coma or dead, whatever. At least I get to experience it before I die. But at this point in my life, despite the horrors happening around us, I'm in a pretty decent place, and I don't have that constant death wish running through my head. Yeah. Or at least it's very quiet, because unfortunately those of us with SI, there's not really a way to get rid of that. It's just, how quiet can you make it?
Just shh.
Yeah, shh. Zip it. Scotty, don't. Anyway.
Yes, I'm be quiet.
I would have done it at a certain point in my life. At this point in my life, I don't think I would. And I think that's just because at this point in my life, I'm not playing games. And speaking of playing games, let's go to our next category.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
All right, Caitlin, another movie that is overtly queer. Would you describe this as a pleaser or a punisher?
Well, I'm going to go as Punisher.
Yeah.
It is. The family drama aspects are very realistic.
Yeah.
Very rough. Again, I think it's Graziella. I had very complicated relationships with my own grandmothers in particular, and some of the things that she was doing, it was the allergy. Okay, the allergy thing in particular really gets me because I feel like there's a whole generation of people who really messed things up for people who have actual allergies because they conflated not wanting to eat a thing with an allergy.
Oh, yeah.
So when Angel doesn't want to eat meat, she's like, you'll never get rid of that allergy. I want to throw something at the screen. That's dangerous. Stop it.
Well, and even if it's not an allergy, let people eat what they want and
Exactly.
don't make them eat what they don't want to.
Oh my God.
Dude clearly has PTSD about that hunting trip with his dad. That's a perfectly fine reason to not want to eat meat.
And it's so interesting because he doesn't want to eat meat because of that hunting trip, but he doesn't necessarily have the same qualms with violence against Ale.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Angel is a complicated piece of shit.
Yeah. I think I do come down with ultimately I'm like, he's kind of a piece of shit. Like, regardless of the queerness,
Yeah.
there's just a part of him where he might just be a piece of shit.
Like we've said before, being a part of a marginalized community does not preclude you from being an asshole. You can be an asshole no matter who you are. It's about choosing not to be an asshole. And that's a choice we should all make.
Yep. And you have Fabienne, who is a nurse, who is extremely sweet.
Oh, yeah.
God. I just
Seems like a good uncle.
And the moment when Vero turns to him and is just like, you have beautiful eyes. Mm-hmm. And he, like the tears he starts to get, where he just like, and he says like, that's the nicest anyone around here has said to me in like a very long time. It's so gutting. You're going around watching people who are so extremely repressed that it is difficult. You want people to be able to live their authentic lives. At least I do. I think most people who are listening to this, unless it's just for like hateful reasons, want people to be happy and live their best lives. And we are watching a lot of people just the amount again of repression felt and how that is just so negatively impacting everyone. It's the grandmother can't see how this is going to impact her grandchildren.
Right.
And this is going to mess them up severely.
Yeah, people in these situations are often extremely short-sighted, and they don't think about the possibilities. They don't think about the expansiveness of human nature. They just think, well, this is what I know. This is what I'm sticking with because this is what I think is right. And it does so much damage. It does so much damage to the people who think and feel that way, as well as the people around them. And it's very clear that Angel, besides just the cultural standard of rejecting queerness, his dad is very much a man's man. We barely get any interactions with him. But when he walks in and smacks his son like really fucking hard and then hugs him, he clearly does not understand how to express emotions in a healthy way. He is clearly a part of why Angel has so much repression built up inside of him.
One of the feelings I got from that scene is that potentially his father is also gay.
Yep. Same.
That's the crying, he can't, neither of them can exist. And he's mad for his son for slipping.
Yeah.
Not being able to pass anymore.
Right. And there was a moment during that scene where I got really worried that his dad was going to sexually assault him.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, And I'm really glad we didn't go there.
Yes,
I'm really, really glad we didn't go there.
I think I would have warned you in that case. I promise.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I would have surprised you with that.
Yeah. Well,
there's a few things I don't like to surprise people with. That's one of them.
I'm in agreement. This is definitely a Punisher. I didn't love it, but I did like it. I may revisit it at some point in the future. This is definitely not I'll never watch that again. Because again, it's a very well-crafted film.
Yes.
I liked the score. I really liked the cinematography. And again, the performances are great. And part of the problem with that is they feel so authentic that it makes it more upsetting in certain aspects. So I am thankful that you brought this to the podcast, though, because I think this has been a really great discussion.
And this is one of those movies that it's just not seen enough. I think it's...
Yeah. Well, and it's not easy to find right now. I believe it's on Canopy or Hoopla, one of the library streaming platforms.
Canopy, woo.
So if you have a local library that will let you use Canopy, make sure you sign up and utilize that, because it's a great fucking service and you should all support your local libraries. They are extremely important. And if you don't know this, libraries rent out movies. They've got Blu-rays, they've got DVDs, and a lot of libraries have good shit. They've got Criterion collections, stuff like that. So this is my PSA about supporting libraries, because knowledge is important and we need to hold on to whatever we can before they take it away from us.
Okay, so this is one of the reasons also I just have to say before I give my actual final thoughts of the movie, because I do want to hit this. I know because we talk a lot about physical media, and not just because because the quality is better and the sound is better and you get the special features, and yes, but I'm also just starting to feel like paid streaming services are a scam. This is a scam. Like, what do you mean I have to pay for MGM Plus and Amazon? Amazon owns MGM. Like, how everything has just been so monopolized. It's just the same company is controlling all of our content, and less is becoming available. Like, why should I pay for one of these services and I mean, I know Tubi's owned by Fox, but if Tubi's going to have it for free.
Wait, Tubi's owned by Fox?
I know.
Oh, damn. Well, I still love Tubi.
I know. So. That's the thing. Again, are any of those owned by a not evil corporation? No. That's the problem. So why things like buying physical and supporting Hoopla or Canopy? I just think right now it's a better deal, honestly. Otherwise, you're throwing money away on a bunch of services that you're just scrolling through for hours to determine there is nothing on here I want to watch. And take my money every month. And that's my other PSA. Before our final thoughts.
All right, so what are your final thoughts?
A lot of thoughts about this movie. I think this movie is, again, it's all about repression and desire, and how being able to live authentically and like as your best sexual selves, what an awesome goal, and how much happier. Life is too short to waste on terrible sex. Find the people who you are sexually compatible with. It is so many issues arise in relationships because of the inability to talk about what people want, people to be truthful with each other. If they had just, maybe opened up that relationship, had an actual conversation, and were like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I want, they could have had a lovely lavender marriage. I don't know. Polyamorous or advocating for couples on this. It is really about, and how that repression, again, just causes violence. I did forget to mention, there is an excellent book called Hurricane Season. She is a Mexican writer. The translation is incredible. It is a punishing read. I read it in 2020. Well, I had nothing else to do, as one might. I guess I should say, it came out in 2020. And it deals with a lot of these similar themes. But there's like, I think it opens with the murder of a trans witch.
Mm-hmm.
Or finding of a, kind of actually very similar of like finding a body. And so there's a lot there about femicide, transphobia, homophobia, witchcraft, bestiality, pretty much anything that is very transgressive. This book talks about. It's also written in such a way that there are almost no periods. There's not a whole lot of comma, period, so just keep that in mind if you have an issue with that. It could take me some time because with my ADHD, I like to have a finite end to something, so I can be like, if I get to that point, I can stop.
I can't read reviews on Letterboxd without line breaks. And I know a few people who write reviews like that. And I'm like, I like your writing. I want to read it. I literally can't do it. I can't. You got to have line breaks.
Yeah, so it did, I will say, it took me a while, but it is excellent. And it's by Fernanda Melchor.
Cool. Can you send me a link to that so I can put it in our show notes?
I will. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
And yes, just how repression can ultimately cause such violence to us and the people we love.
Mm-hmm.
And again, or we could go into a cabin and have all your holes filled.
All of them.
I think I lost you. I lost you for a second. You froze. And so I said that thing about holes filled, and I got nothing back. And I was just like, oh.
I went, all of them. And if you're going to get all your holes filled, you're going to be wrapped up. And speaking of wrapping up, why don't we wrap up with what awaits you next time?
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police. Not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
Hey, I got a good transition. Yay! I did it. So that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can because it helps more people find the show and it makes us all tingly inside. You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers and on Blue Sky at Pleasers Punishers. You can also email us at pleaserspunisherspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. You can find my music on Bandcamp, Ampwall, and streaming services as Everson Poe, 2 separate words. Yeah, I finally signed up for Ampwall. You can hear me on Tender Subject and Slayerfest 98 in the podcast world, and I think that's it. Caitlin, where can you be found?
I can be found at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, and Cat of the North on Letterboxd. It'll all be getting more interesting because Miss Edie, my cat, is now getting much better. Hooray! Yay. So I can go out and do things, which is good because probably just around my birthday as this is dropping, and I will be elsewhere.
Yeah, we're stacking some recordings so that Caitlin can go take a trip for a week and a half and not have to worry about shit. And I'm like so excited on your behalf that you get to take a trip. And I wish you were stopping here on your way.
I know. I always wish to do so just because flying is a nightmare. Anyway, that'll be a conversation for another day. I have so many things to say about that too.
Maybe when we cover Red Eye or Final Destination. Well, next week's episode is going to be on the sexy, bloody, and sweet-sounding period piece, Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Happy birthday to me.
I know we've already covered a movie from 2025. I know we're doing another one. We don't want y'all to think we have recency bias, but we're going to have a special guest for this episode.
Yes.
Someone Caitlin knows, someone I'm very excited to talk to. I think it's going to be really good. And if you haven't seen Sinners, fix that. I've seen it 4 times in the theater. I've seen it at 4 different theaters. It's that fucking good. So fix that shit.
Yes.
But until then, do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and
allergies are real.